and this is video games. Today I'm playing two special games at special request. Hey, Gibbon's here in the chat, and it's Gibbon's birthday. Well, actually, that was like a week and a half ago, but I said, hey, for your birthday, why don't you request something from me, and I'll do it, since you're such a loyal viewer and good friend. And so he picked the hack of Super Mario Land that adds Pauline as a playable character. Of course, Gibbon is a noted fan of the Pauline character. And this is a quite well-made little hack. I'll talk more about the provenance of it in a bit, but suffice to say, we're playing two Mario games today, but not playing as Mario. So after this one, there's also, of course, the famous Donkey Kong hack that swaps Mario and Pauline's places in the story. Sorry, actually, I was planning this stream for last week and had to call it off because I had a bad cold and I'm still feeling the lingering effects. So there might be a little coughing and spluttering, unfortunately, nearly a week later, which is a bit crazy. But yeah, this is Pauline Day today, so why don't we get started with the game? First of all, I'll note that on the title screen you can see in the upper corner, yeah, Pauline's been put up there and she's real cute. Yeah, let's just start the game and check out some of the graphics and stuff. Hang on a second. All right. Yeah, this is sort of the launch screen, and it's quite static, I think. Is there an attract mode? I had the emulator paused until now. Yeah, there is a bit of an attract mode, so that's what it looks like, but there's no sound on that mode. This is a hack by a gentleman, a Swedish guy called Arne Nicholas Jansson, who has a website, androidarts.com, which I recommend checking out. There's a lot of cool projects on there. He's an illustrator and programmer. Yeah, and he was fooling around with Super Mario Land and decided to try and redraw the graphics. So the Pauline part of this hack is kind of an add-on to the main project, which is redoing all the graphics in the game, especially the enemy sprites and stuff. So you'll notice, if you're familiar with the game, that yeah, the graphics have been redone and they look different from what you might expect. So that'll help keep this a little bit fresh, because, you know, Super Mario Land is not really, it's a lot less obscure than a lot of the games I play, let's put it that way. So one of the things that he's done with this game, and you can see it whenever I pass background elements, he's using all four colors available to him to draw the character sprite, and one of them is the alpha sort of transparent color. So if I walk in front of this tree, you can actually see the tree through Pauline's hat. And I think that there's one pixel on her arm there that might be transparent. Can't quite get it, but yeah. So it's an inventive use of the limitations. There you go. So the power-ups have also been changed in the Pauline portion of the hack. So instead of the fire flower, you get the handbag from Donkey Kong, which acts as the, what do they call it in this game? The Super Ball flower that gives you the ball. It's not fireballs in this game, it's super balls that bounce, as you can see. Oh yeah, and it's the parasol instead of a Starman. Yeah, now you'll notice that the song that plays when I'm invincible is, well, you might notice the Can Can song. Hang on, there's a trick here. There you go. You can collect coins with the Super Balls if you bounce them. Oh, hey Laura, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, the Can Can song. That's how it's popularly known, but it's actually from... I wrote it all down because I knew I would remember it. Yes, okay, so Jacques Offenbach wrote the operetta Orpheus in the Underworld, and that little tune is the, what do you call it, the Galop Infernal, or the Infernal, oh gosh, Gallop, I don't know, it's French, it doesn't mean gallop, it means something else. Yes, that's the origin of that. And so it's interesting that they're sort of reusing existing classical music in the game instead of having all unique tunes. Apps? Yep, okay, I got hit. But you can see her small sprite again, which is nice. She doesn't have the hat on, she's shorter. It's cute, she's got a little headband. So I guess picking up the hat makes her big and gives her the hat in her sprite, which is a nice touch. So that's the 3 Donkey Kong pickups accounted for, I believe. The parasol, the bag, and the hat. Yes, what was I saying? So yeah, in like Super Mario Brothers, for example, which this game is clearly based on, it's all original music by Koji Kondo, I believe. And Hirokazu Hip Tanaka did the music in this game, but yeah, you've got that use of some public domain music, but which is not unheard of. Mario Brothers as well uses a bit of Eine kleine Nacht music by Mozart for some of its jingles, and Donkey Kong Jr. also, the opening sort of jingle uses a bit from Toccata and Fugue in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach, which is commonly known as a sort of villain song or villain cue, although I'm not really sure where that actually comes from. My instinctive thought was to associate it with Dracula, but it hasn't actually been used in a Dracula movie. Or even... was it in Phantom of the Opera? I looked this up. I don't know. That was a week ago. Never mind. Oh yeah, here's something I wanted to do actually. I'm playing this through a sort of Game Boy Color emulator, and on the Game Boy Color, since this is an original Game Boy game, you could cycle through different palettes. So I want to try and maybe pick a different one for each stage. There's not many stages in the game. How about this one where it's all yellow to suit the deserty, pyramidy kind of thing? That kind of works. Yes. There is a custom palette, I think, that the author of the hack intended for... Oops. Okay. That he said works well when you're Pauline to make her stand out. So I'll get to that eventually, I guess, but... Oops. Yeah, cool. That's a nice little setup. I think there's also a custom palette you can set up. Some emulators support sort of manually entering color values for different elements of the game. Uh-oh, what's this? This is the boss. Oh, World 1. Easy. That's a simple Bowser type setup. So, like I said, we're following the Super Mario Brothers formula here. Oh, hello, Mint. Good to see you. Gibbon must have posted about this in other Discord. That's nice. What is the name of that enemy? I've got the Mario wiki page for Mario Land up here. Oh, what's this? Gotcha, Tatanga. Haha, no. Okay, so instead of Mario finding Daisy at the end of the castle and her turning into a fly, I believe the idea is that Pauline thought she's caught Tatanga there, but it was a disguise. It was the fly. So that's interesting. I wonder if Mario is even in this hack. I do not know this. Okay, so that was King Totomesu, the Sphinx thingy. Gibbon says one of the GBC palettes works pretty well. Don't know about Super Game Boy palettes. I believe this is GBC palettes. Let me find the one that the author specifically called out. It's one of the ones that makes the player sprite red. So possibly this one, or maybe this one. Yeah, we'll try this one. It works well with the water, I think, having the blue. But it's good to be able to cycle through them, have some variety. Because if this was a truly color game, they would cycle palettes at various points of the game. So yeah, let's talk about some of the locations in the game. I find Super Mario Land more interesting than Super Mario Brothers because it has more variety, and each world has its own identity. So a lot of people would know that the whole thing takes place in Sarasa Land, which is Daisy's sort of dominion. But of course there's other worlds after that. We're already in World 2 as I've been talking. So Sarasa Land is often given as the sort of overall name of the entire world. But it's made up of 4 sub-worlds. So we've already been through the sort of Egypt-inspired kingdom, which in the original release was called, in the localized release was called Birabuto Kingdom, which is sort of a mistake on the fact that, oh wow, okay, yes, I forgot about this. These robots will throw their heads at you. That robot is sort of the basis for a character in the manga, but I'll talk about that later, I guess. Yeah, the Birabuto Kingdom was originally called Pirapto Kingdom, and they had this thing, which you also notice if you go through the enemy names, where the translator sort of goofed and made a mistake when localizing it, because they misinterpreted the circular diacritic mark, which changes the hit sound to a pit. They thought it was the double mark diacritic mark that changes the hit to a bit. So I believe that manifests itself in the names of a couple of enemies as well. Which one? Yeah, in this kingdom actually, those seahorse things that jump up and spit fire at you are called Yurarinpu in the original, and they were localized as Yurarinbu erroneously. Yeah, the Maru as Tenten. Yeah, that's right. Those are sort of their informal name. The circular mark that is the secondary modifier is called a Maru, because that's the name for a circle shape. And the double apostrophe is a 1010. But those are there's a more formal, like, official name of what those marks are, but I don't remember what it is. Nuts. Okay, so this is an interesting part where Super Mario Land turns from a platformer into a shmup, a horizontally scrolling shoot 'em up. Yes, and I'm in. It's not the Sky Pop. What's the submarine called? I forget. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that there's a completely different gameplay style in the middle here. Almost like a mini game, but not really, even more than that, you know. It's sort of the basis of this whole stage. Yes, okay. So the Piraputo Kingdom is sort of portmanteau of pyramid, Pira, and Egypt, the pt ending in Japanese. It kind of got butchered when localizing it, but yeah, it's based on Egypt. You would have noticed the pyramids. The Sphinx was the boss. The kingdom I'm in now is the Muda Kingdom, which is based on Bermuda, which in this case kind of just manifests itself as it's a sort of watery, tropical kind of vibe. We've got a lot of aquatic enemies, as well as the generic Nokobons and what's it called? Chibubo, which are otherwise known as, oh no, what do they call them? Bombshell Coopers. Yeah, so there's an interesting thing about the localization. Oh, this wasn't changed. The coins still spell out Mario. So like I said, a lot of the sort of localization was a bit sloppily done in the original release. And a lot of the enemy names were just transliterated instead of changed. Okay, so that sound effect was actually added in the graphics hack to make that connection between that what's it called? Dragon Zamasu. the connection between it and Birdo a bit more concrete because the author identified that they were similar. Gotcha, Tatanga. Haha, no. It was an octopus. Cool. Glad I haven't had to use any save states or anything so far. What was I just saying? Something about... Yeah, the localization. So the names, they didn't change them, but on the 3DS Virtual Console release, in the digital manual, some of the enemy names had been finally given like a proper localization. So Nokobon, which is the Koopa thing whose shell is a bomb, became Bombshell Koopa, and Chibibo, which is a Chibi Kuribo, was changed to Goombo, being a Goomba. And I don't think we've seen the Bullet Bills yet, which were originally called Gira, which is another variation on Kira, which is the name of the... Oh, there you go, thanks. Yeah, Duckatan. The marks are called Duckatan. Thank you. Anyway, that's why there's a few different names for the enemies here, and mostly they're kind of original. So let's pick a palette for this new world. I like this one, generally, in a lot of games, actually. Oh, I didn't... Yeah, there's a down sprite as well for ducking. That's cute. I like that. I'll have to take some damage so I can see her small ducking sprite. Oh, there is none. Okay, that's fine. That's actually par for the course for the Mario. I had a hunch that would be there. Oh, there's a Gitter. Cool. They're really just a smaller Bullet Bill. Everything in this game is smaller because it's Super Mario Land. Yeah, I didn't mention, but I do like the design of this game. Even the original graphics, I don't think they really needed an update, but I thought I'd play with the guy's graphics hack since I was using the Pauline hack as well. But yeah, I like the kind of small sprites in the game that gives you a lot of room to see on the screen, but it's also fun making distinctive character designs in small resolutions, which is kind of what I do with my own art projects, if you've ever seen my Tumblr. Oh gosh, wow, that snuck up on me. I've got the Moai heads from Easter Island kind of thing, which actually brings up... Oops, yeah, this kingdom I'm in is called the Eastern Kingdom, and it's clearly modeled after Easter Island, so that's going to manifest itself with lots of Moai heads, basically. And yeah, I don't know, not much else. But yeah, despite each world having a different kind of theme and graphic style, the music kind of stays constant, as you can tell, which is fine. There is that variation for the underground theme, which actually got a pretty cool remix in Smash Bros. Brawl. And there's the can-can, as I mentioned. Yeah. Skillful play. Oh, Mint is saying that the end boss music at the screen where it seems like you've rescued Daisy, or in this case, confronted Tatanga. Yeah, saying that music sounds really creepy. Yeah, I'll make sure to take note of that next time I get to that screen. So I don't recall it offhand. But yeah, the small sprites, it's something that appeals to me and reminds me of the first two... Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. There's a set piece here where you have to ride a boulder, but it sort of doesn't appear until you get far enough on the screen. Yeah, it reminds me of the first two Rayman games on Game Boy Color. How they have these tiny little sprites that look extremely cute and well suited to the platform, I think. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that the boulder was rolling, but I'm standing still, but whatever. That's okay. It's just physics. Yeah, which when I compared it to, let's say, Tonic Trouble, which is a related game, the Game Boy Color version of that, which was done by a different studio, had much larger sprites, which in some ways is better for some people because, you know, it allows you to have more detailed sprites, but on the other hand, it really reduces the... Oh, wow, okay. It reduces the play area of the screen, basically, and makes things a bit trickier. So... Oh, I guess, yeah, the physics in Super Mario Land are a bit, you know, like, a bit touchy, you know? Oh, I actually have one continue. Might as well use it. And I'm back to 3-1, so I'll make a save state there, I guess. Let's, yeah, go to the different palettes for now. But yeah, however odd the controls are in this game, I still think they're actually better than in Super Mario Brothers, which I never really enjoyed at all for a number of reasons. And so that's my hot take. Like, Super Mario Land is in every way a superior game to Super Mario Bros. There you go. Yes. Oh, and Gibbon's saying he likes the redone Moai heads in the background, and the music is intentionally so, I believe he says. Like, consistent music, I think he's talking about. I'm feeling lackey in power-ups here. As the game progresses, of course, the difficulty increases, you get less pickups. Yeah, I haven't even got up to the cave part of this world yet. And I'm not doing so well, am I? Oh, nuts. Okay. So that's game over and I don't have a continue this time. What does that mean exactly? It means I have to start all over again, but that's okay, I have a save state. I wonder, should I be cheating at this stage? Cheats. Yeah, let's just go. I had some lives. Oh, nuts. Oh, I didn't set that up on this controller. Never mind. Yeah, so Super Mario Land, it's cool. First appearance of Daisy, and then she was kind of shafted after that. We're not actually going to see Daisy in this hack, but yeah, depending on time, there's another hack that actually adds Daisy as the playable character. It swaps Mario and Daisy around, much like the Pauline hack does for Donkey Kong. Oh, that nasty little guy. Yikes. So, since I've checkpointed here, I actually don't get to get that power up. There's some devious enemy setups. It's amazing what they can do, you know. Alright. So, yes, okay. Oh, that was cool. That felt good. Right, we can do the rest of the game on one life if I just use save states. Easy peasy. Modern cheating techniques, I love it. Which, hey, if you played this on the Virtual Console release, you would have access to that as well. So, oop. Yeah. You don't get that on Virtual Console, but hey, I've been using that a lot during my personal playthrough of Evo's Search for Eden, which I streamed a couple weeks back. Yeah, actually, you're right. This palette is quite sepia toned, and that seemed a little unfair, don't you think? That boulder appeared out of nowhere and killed me as I jumped through it. Oh, also notice the eyes on the cloud. That was added for the graphics hack. I think I remember reading that Jensen actually put different cloud sprites for each world. Here I'll be able to get some more lives. Yeah, I actually do like this sepia look. It fits. It kind of fits, you know, because the age of this game and the fact that it kind of never went anywhere in terms of Mario canon. Kind of a dead end, if you know what I mean. Yes, cheating to get more lives. That's a good technique. Alright, so back in a cave in Eastern Kingdom. The caves look different here. And there's spiders. Sorry if you have the arachnophobia. But this was actually a good... The spiders are called Su. That's the name of them. Although there's two kinds of spider, actually. Spider enemy. There's the other kind. That's a kumo. And kumo is just the word for spider in Japanese. Whoop. Yeah. So I should be able to get up here somehow. But I'm also on the lookout for a power-up if I can. Oh, I didn't know that was possible. Okay. So yeah, I mentioned the manga earlier. I was actually talking about my favorite Mario manga, which is the one that was printed in Comic Bomb Bomb magazine. It's sometimes known as KC Mario because the publisher is KC Deluxe. It was written and illustrated by Motoyama Kazuki. Did I get that right? Yeah, I'm sure that's right. God, I wrote so many notes for this stream. Kazuki Motoyama. Yeah, it's one way or the other. Japanese style naming would put Motoyama and then Kazuki. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot? Let's change up the palette. Ooh. Oh. Oh. These are all quite garish with the background of the moving waterfall. Yeah, you got the pea soup look. You got the Game Boy Pocket look. Have I tried... Oh, they're actually all terrible on this particular level. Why don't we go... I did this one already, didn't I? Let's do this one. That actually looks okay. Yeah, so Super Mario Land was one of the first things to be adapted in that comic. There was sort of a it's an interesting comic because over the many years of its run, it covered a lot of games, and each time it had a different name, but it's all sort of under this umbrella of the author Motoyama. And so anyway, but it started with a Super Mario Bros. 3 sort of half guide, half manga. Okay, let's do this ugly one that makes Pauline look like an alien with green skin. That's nice. But yeah, the first proper manga adaptation was the Super Mario Land one. And I love this manga. It's completely crazy and fun. But yeah, like I was saying about the spiders, they form the basis for one of the first original characters in the run of the series, which went on to have a few memorable recurring characters that were new to the manga. And, oops, wow, okay. The old hidden block trick, huh? So yeah, the Su spider is an enemy, and there's a character called Su-chan, who is a human kind of islander type person that Mario meets, who turns out to be a spider in disguise. But she sort of befriends him with the intent to betray him, but then ends up sort of liking him and helping him in the end. And then she even sacrifices her life, and she ends up dead, and one of the chapters even ends with Mario just at her grave. It's pretty dark. Gimme. Oh, nuts. Yeah. One of the ways this differs from Super Mario Brothers, well, there's a lot of ways clearly, but in terms of game mechanics, you've got, when you get hit in the usual Mario style, there's a sort of pause of the action and the screen as you are reduced in size, but it kind of just happens here and you move on. Okay, oh. I think you have to try and land on one in midair. Yeah, there you go. So that's the boss of the Eastern Kingdom. Hioi Hoi, which I think is sort of an onomatopoeia for throwing, to show that he's throwing things. Yeah. I gotta say, this Tatanka sprite really looks kind of like a luchador. Haha, no! So yeah, we're up to the 4th kingdom of the game now. So this is, actually, hang on. Let's go back and focus on that, because Mint mentioned it earlier. So you got this nice music, oh, you know, you did it, you saved the thing. Good things are happening now. But then, do-do-do-do-do-do. I think you're right, that is pretty creepy. Yeah, let's get that power up, why not? We have 4 lives, surely that's enough. Famous last words. Oh boy. So there is actually some music here. Yeah, we do get a new music track for this world, which is cool, but yeah, the fact that it starts out with that so stereotypical Chinese-y kind of chord that is just very prevalent in many forms of media. I feel like it's a little bit racist. Anyway, this is the Chai Kingdom, which is, yes, based on China, as you can tell from the bamboo and the music. And that enemy I just dispatched is, I think it's a Jiangxi. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's kind of a Chinese vampire equivalent, which have their own characteristics. You can see them in other kinds of media. There's some in Castlevania at certain points. One of the playable characters in Darkstalkers is a Jiangxi. But yeah, in this arc of the manga, there's some more new characters, which is just like a family that Mario meets and sort of stays in their house to recuperate, but then vampires attack and some of them are turned into vampires. I'm not 100% sure that's how the actual folkloric Chinese vampires work, but they have sort of the powers of the Western depiction of vampires, basically, in this manga. Really laying on the piranha plants thick in this bit. You might have noticed a couple of times a bit of a reuse of sort of level design elements, sort of chunked together, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but maybe it's another indicator of the sort of low-tech Game Boy origin of this game, maybe? I don't know. They certainly expanded on the formula a lot for the sequel. 6 golden coins. Oops. Yeah, why not? I've been cheating so much, I'm just going to keep cheating. Oh boy. Yeah, the sequel's pretty interesting. It still has a lot of new elements that help it stand out from the console Mario games, but it also kind of loses a little bit of the character of the first game because it goes to this style with gigantic sprites, which is the trade-off I talked about earlier. I do kind of like this palette, but I don't know if it's the best for gameplay. Why don't we do this? Sure, it's nighttime now. We're nearing the end of the game. Let's do a false color inverse. That's kind of fun. Oh, okay. Now that would be a pom-pom flower. You get something like that in Super Mario World, I think. Actually, it's more like the walking piranha plant that has the spike ball over, like, spitting up, which I think is from 3. Okay, that's new too. That kind of snake thing. Nyololin? Okay, cool. I don't know what that means. Forget that happened. So, so yeah, Pauline, she's in this game, right? Not really, but it's nice that the author of this hack put her in as playable, even though it doesn't really thematically work, because Pauline's always been part of the pre-Super series, when things were still in the real world, a bit more grounded, you know. The hack that just swaps Daisy in as the playable character is kind of, I guess, more conventional. But even if Pauline maybe is not the first choice that comes to mind, I'm absolutely not complaining about that. It's cool that she's here in this hack, and I'm certain that Gibbon appreciates it too. Just that choice. Worth noting, of course, that the graphics hack, which Jansen distributed on his website, you can get it on romhacking.net as well. But yeah, Pauline was like a bonus extra patch that you could download, and there's also actually another extra patch that replaces Mario as the playable character with a xenomorph from Alien. So that's even more kind of out of left field. Doesn't make any sense, but it's cool. So how are we doing? 4-3. I think we're in the last world, or the last level, which will be another shooter, if I'm correct. So yeah, there's 2 in the game. Okay, this definitely needs to change. Actually, this palette really fits this. Yeah, that works. I like that. So yeah, now we're in the Sky Pop, famously, which out of all the elements in Super Mario Land is probably the one that is referenced the most. Although I can't think of any actual concrete references. But I feel like there's at least one, which is more than a lot of the other stuff in this game. I mean, Tatanga does come back, but only in... okay, I need that, so I'm gonna just grab that cheatingly, thank you. And yes, the plane gets bigger when you get your power up. It makes sense. It just happens. So yeah, Tatanga is a boss in Super Mario Land 2, actually. I think he's in the space zone. There's 6 worlds, and then, you know, they have different themes, and there's some interesting stuff going on in that game, actually. I really like the macro zone, where you're tiny and in a big house. But yeah, so Tatanga comes back and he's working with Wario. You also sort of get a version of Tatanga in the SNES release of Wario's Woods, which didn't actually come out in Japan, but yeah, Wario's Woods is one of those cool B-side Mario games where you don't play as Mario, you're playing as Toad, who is fighting Mario with the help of Birdo and Wanda, according to some interpretations from Mario and Wario. Yes, so there's sort of an alien purple guy called Katsini, who is, I think, an early opponent in the story mode of that puzzle game, Wario's Woods. And he looks very similar to Tatanga. So why not headcanon that they're the same person, eh? Oh, thwomps. Interesting. That's new for this hack, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so here we go. What is this? It's a flying cloud that screams at you. Ah, nuts. Dunzo. Now, here's where things get serious and the music changes. And there he is, Tatanga in his super machine, whatever it's called. Oh, you can actually shoot the cloud before it splits. That's interesting. Or at least I managed it once. Oops. There's a fan theory, says Gibbon, that it is Tatanga inside the cloud. Okay. Is that why it screams? I couldn't... Well, I was sort of picking the tags for the Twitch stream, and I was like, is this actually a first playthrough? I don't remember if I've played this game all the way through before. But I've certainly seen speedruns of it and stuff. I'm sure I've played at least part of it, maybe on a friend's Game Boy or something. So anyway, point is, I don't remember how much the hack has actually changed from the original. I know a lot of the graphics are new, but I don't know if this sound effect was in the original. That's my point. So yes, the cloud has a face. But if Tatanga is in the cloud, how come the machine comes up with Tatanga in it? How does that make any sense? I guess he just fell off screen and then something happened. And then he came back in the machine. Gibbon throwing his hands up at that analysis. Okay, so I think a couple of shots on one of these little projectiles will destroy it. Yeah, there you go. Individually. This is actually tough. Am I doing damage? What's going on? There we go. I was doing damage. There was no feedback. Never mind. So yeah, is that it? I think that's it for this game. We've defeated the mighty Tatanga. Let's see what happens. Pauline, let's go far away. Oh, okay. The stars await us. So that's different. Have you seen the end of this hack before, Gibbon? Well, it makes sense. At this point in the series, Pauline's sort of been abandoned by Mario. Producer Gunpei Yokoi. Lost too soon. Director S. Okada. A lot of these names are R&D 1 stalwarts, and you'll see them on other... Oh, and Yamamoto, okay. Yeah, you'll see them in other Game Boy games and NES games. In the era when Yokoi was the head of this R&D 1 department separate from EAD. They did Metroid and Kid Icarus and some other cool stuff. There you go, Hip Tanaka, legend. He also did the jingles in the Donkey Kong games, the original trilogy, and Mario Brothers, Wrecking Crew. You'd also know him from Mother 1 and 2, actually. But yeah, one of those classic Nintendo composers. Actually, speaking of the music, and I was talking about the Virtual Console release before, this game has 2 releases. There's a 1.1 sort of patch release that fixes some music bugs and a couple of glitches. All the patches that I found for this game apply to the 1.1 ROM, but the 3DS Virtual Console release, for some reason, is the 1.0 release with the bugs in. So yeah, Nintendo weren't always the best at releasing the latest version of the game on the Virtual Console. You can see that with the PAL Wii release of Donkey Kong Country 1. Yes. Anyway, I guess that's the end. So that was the story. Pauline got together with Tatanga in the end. What's the time? Yeah, we're running early. This is a short game, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is stay on this game a bit longer because I have more to say about it with all those notes I mentioned. Okay, so we're going to run this. I will get things going for you. This is another hack that I mentioned earlier. Now, is that working? So this is Super Daisy Land, which, like I said, swaps the character models around. So we're playing as Daisy, and yeah, that's cool. Now, something I didn't do on my first playthrough actually is try the pipes to find secret zones and such. So this is the sprite that you would see if you're playing as Mario and you go to rescue Daisy at the end of each level. She looks like this, although I think they've added a crown to her sprite there. But yeah, I believe all the other sprites in the game were made by this hack author, which I should tell you about actually, if I can find it. Oh gosh. Okay, Hypershell is the name of the author of this hack, so I guess here you can see all the original graphics for the game, but Daisy has been changed. Oh, that's new too, actually. The Super Balls have been changed into little flowers. Cute. Oh yeah, the pipes. I forgot to try them. I'm sure there's at least one underground zone in this level. That's like a Super Mario Bros. Staple that I'm sure they adopted. So I remember coming out of a pipe in this level. Anyway, yeah, this month contained... Oh, I did it again. This month contained International Women's Day, and I was too sick to stream in close proximity to it, but the whole month is also International Women's Month, so yeah. It like, Gibbon asked me to do this, but it also fits having not just games with a female protagonist, but one where we forcibly ripped out the male protagonist and replaced them with a woman. So bravo, hack authors. Of course, having said that, I am mindful of something that Courtney said the other day in a chat that I'm a part of, talking about sort of like one of the ways that, you know, companies and IP holders can sort of pay lip service to International Women's Day is to spotlight women characters, but kind of ignore or sideline real life women. So next week, certainly on my stream, I will try and play a game or two that highlights women creators in the video game industry, and that's something I did a little bit last year as well, during this particular month. What is it, March? And yeah, so that's something I want to do next month, but I want to acknowledge that at this point, given the perspective of an actual woman that I heard and agreed with, because yes, women are people too. That was a dumb thing to say. Okay, I don't know how much I'm going to play this, but I mean, it's pretty short, isn't it? Gosh, the game is so quick that, yeah. I don't know, let's just keep playing. I am not bored yet, so... Yeah, there you go. I found one at last. Now we actually have a new music track in this underground zone. If we... Yeah, kind of a plodding jingle, not much of a song. Cool. So I guess we'll at least get to a boss and see what happens at the rescue screen. But yeah, yeah, I guess I shouldn't spend too long on this because it is supposed to be a Pauline stream, not a Daisy stream. But it is... I do like Daisy as well, at least. I really like her in the movie. She's pretty good in the games, too. Yeah. She was, you know, introduced by R&D1 in this game, but hasn't really been a major player in the Mario series since then. She popped up in... it was one of the golf games. I always get them confused. I think it's NES Open Tournament Golf, not the game called Golf. Here you go. So here's Mario. Hi, I'm Daisy. Luigi. Oh, it's not Mario, it's Luigi. That's wonderful. Hold on a second. I know how to fix that. No, not that one. That one. There we go. Hi, I'm Daisy. Luigi? It wasn't Luigi, it was a fly. Well, that's fitting, having Luigi in this instead of Mario. Which, I guess, yeah, so, like, in the original release, Mario is here as the protagonist and he rescues Daisy instead of Peach, who would be in Super Mario Brothers, etc. But as of NES Tournament Golf, that's, I believe, the origin of sort of Luigi being paired with Daisy as an analog for Mario and Peach. Oops, okay, I missed all those coins, but oh well, we got that mushroom. Yeah, so that was sort of the origin of it, but that sort of becomes part of their shared character going forward. Is there's a kind of connection between Luigi and Daisy. I think that's reinforced with Daisy's first playable appearance, which would be Mario Tennis on the 64. So Camelot did a lot of good work with bringing out Daisy as a staple of the series, at least in spin-offs like that. And yeah, that also sort of codified the connection between Luigi and Daisy, or Lazy as I call them in their shipping name. They have a partnership in that game in the sense of tennis playing. Yes. And speaking of that, Camelot is also responsible for the now current playable appearance of Pauline, who, again, is more so the reason that we're here today, playing these games. But yeah, wonderful that Pauline is now a part of the roster in Mario Tennis Aces as of this month, actually. So, yeah. Camelot's first Mario Tennis game made Daisy part of the cast, and hopefully, going forward, because of this, Pauline will be more involved in the cast, thanks to Camelot. Although it's really thanks to Odyssey bringing her into prominence, I think, is a big reason why she's been chosen for that, I think. Because as many Mario vs. Donkey Kong games as she's going to be in, that's nothing to, you know, the EPD Master Race. Oh wow, I forgot about this. Yeah, the author of the Daisyland hack has put in Yoshi in place of the submersible. That's cute. Hold on, I took a hit. Let's not do that. Sweet. Oh, that was a bit earlier than that. Hold on. Hang on a second. Okay, we're good. Yeah, pretty cool. I forgot about this, but very pleasing, actually. Yoshi, again, completely out of place for Mario Land. It's too early for him, but that's fine. They added Yoshi in the port of Mario Brothers, right, to the Game Boy Color, Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. I should say Super. I need to distinguish because, especially in a DK Goda context, we cover Mario Brothers, the game, but not Super Mario Brothers. That's sort of the cutoff, you know? That's when Mario became something else than what it started as. And yeah, Super Mario Land is kind of in a weird middle ground, really, because it doesn't reuse a lot of sort of aesthetic stuff from Super Mario Brothers, although it's based on the gameplay formula. But anyway, I think that's why, of all the Mario platformers you could have put Pauline in, Super Mario Land is a good choice, actually, because it eschews a lot of the Mushroom Kingdom stuff that is representative of the super portion of the franchise, you could say. I don't know. That's the distinctions, the way I think about them anyway. Oh, okay. So the original game did have the sound effects. We are confirming this. I do remember reading about the author of the Pauline hack, or the graphics hack that then included Pauline, I remember him making a comment about his design of that boss. He redesigned it to make it look more like Birdo. That's what I was thinking of. It wasn't the sound. The sound is just a... yeah, the sound is just there. Oh, yep, Luigi mode. Hi, I'm Daisy. That's some sort of Daisy's catchphrase as of, like, Mario Kart games and probably some of those tennis games too. Alright. Stuff. Hi, I'm Gibbon, says Gibbon. Hi, I'm Milo. Yeah, we love Daisy, don't we, Gibbon? Officially. As part of the DK Gerda remit. Daisy's okay with us. At least I'm going to claim that. So yeah, these are the original Moai heads. Look a bit more like the real thing. I want to go back to this palette. Sounds good to me, says Gibbon. Cool. Now that I've had the practice, I'm actually doing better with this game, I think. Actually, you know what this palette reminds me of? Like the trans pride flag. With the sort of, what do you call it? Pastel pink and blue look. So yes, hooray. Let's go with that. Oh yeah, and actually I didn't talk about my border at all. I'm actually using a piece of art from the Mario Tennis Aces. I think that's a promotional render. You got Pauline on the sort of right side of the left-hand border as she appears in the game. Julius said he would be here. I don't know if he's watching. But I've actually used some of his fan art on the right side of the screen. I asked him about that. I didn't ask about the other piece of fan art because I just took it from wherever, so... Oops. Oh, he's here. Great. Good to see you, Julie. Michael Julius Peterson. Check out his Deviant art. That is his artwork on the top right of a redesign of Pauline to make her fit into the Donkey Kong Country series. Sort of an attempt to... yeah, give her a hook that would work in that context, you know? Because her original hook, you know, works well enough for Donkey Kong, but to have her fit in that sort of jungly environment, he's changed her into a kind of adventurer, Jane Goodall type, which works, I think. And, of course, Michael's art is... fantastic. I really like his art style. He's done a lot of great work over the years, especially on Miiverse, actually, where oddly enough the limitations of that system really resulted in some creative, great work from him. So anyway, yeah, check out his Deviant art, which I think is under his name, but it could be Juliusaurus. That's his sort of Twitch name right now, and that's his Discord name. But yeah, I think you can get it through looking for Michael Julius Peterson. So anyway, that's his art on the upper right there. Some of the other art there, the bottom right is the other piece of fan art I mentioned that reinterprets what Pauline would look like if she was in the Super Mario Strikers soccer games for the GameCube and Wii, especially the Wii, I think. Oh, okay, sorry. His Deviant art is under the name MattDog1Million, but he says he ought to change it to Juliusaurus because that's his current sort of screen name. MattDog1Million is how I originally knew Julius here, through the DK Vine forum. That was his username there. But yeah, he goes by Juliusaurus mostly now, I believe. So yeah, good to have you here for the ride. Whoops, that caught me last time and it caught me again. Okay, let's, make it work for me. There we go. Oh yeah, that caught me as well. A lot of good traps in this level, eh? Yes, I didn't actually note who did that artwork, unfortunately, the Strikers one, but I liked it because a lot of the fan art you see of Pauline, especially these days, is very based on her look in Odyssey. So there's not too much of it that reinterprets the character in an interesting way, the way Julius's art does, or the way this other art does. You get a lot of stuff that's just based on her mare outfit and her singing outfit, sometimes based on the casual outfit that you see in concept art for Mario Odyssey. But yeah, that one stood out to me because I really like the design work that went into the Strikers games and how they reinterpreted the universe and made it all kind of like 90s edgy and silly. It's pretty cool. Green skin time, I think. Yes. Oh yeah, and the other artwork. So I guess continuing on the right, we've got two depictions of Pauline from that same manga, or different, phases of the manga by Kazuki Motoyama. So on the left, you can see how she's sort of shorter and she has the two, what do you call them, pigtails? Like Pippi Longstocking. Oh wow, they looked really different in the original, didn't they? The redesigned sprites for the vampires looked more like the official artwork. Anyway, yeah, there's this distinction, especially in Japan, between the character who is in the original Donkey Kong game, who is known in like official sources as Lady, contemporary sources, although as we've talked about before, I believe, the Lady name persists in more modern times whenever Nintendo is talking about the original Donkey Kong. But yeah, so in the manga there's sort of these two separate incarnations of the character who are really the same person, but yeah, you can see on the left it's Lady as she appears in the Super Mario Kart adaptation portion. There's sort of a big racing tournament. It lasts, I think, 3 volumes. It's quite long and interesting. There's a lot of weird twists and turns, and it's quite fun. But yeah, Lady acts as a mechanic in that arc, and she works for Mario, but also, I think, other people as well, and she charges him profuse amounts of moolah to work on his car. And she also participates in the race at various points as well. But yeah, that's sort of another vocation, and you can see her design is really based on Pippi Longstocking with the socks. But yeah, that's adding to the lore of Pauline by giving her this other role. But speaking of, the other piece of artwork on the right side where she has dark hair and she's sort of holding a bucket, that's from the Donkey Kong adaptation. It's around the time of DK94 and the Game Boy. There was a 1.5 volume arc with DK and DK Jr. and stuff. The interesting part actually is that Jr. ends up sort of having a similar implied relationship with Pauline that Bowser Jr. has with Peach in Mario Sunshine. That's just something I noticed while I was reading it. There's a splash screen, a splash page at the start of one chapter with him sort of hugging her and saying "Mama." But yeah, in as depicted in that sort of artwork there, she is working as a zookeeper and tending to Donkey Kong at the start of that manga. That's why she has a bucket of bananas. So yeah, that's just another role that she's had. And I think one of my ideas for the Arcade Era Power Hour podcast for DK Gerda is to talk about Pauline and her history, and that's going to cover all these other roles that she's had in different media. Because there's the coloring book, which we actually talked about on the last episode as of this stream, when I talked about comics and stuff. Yeah, there's coloring books around Donkey Kong, giving some context and backstory to it, where she's working in a zoo amusement park thing as an entertainer. But in this, in the context of this manga, there's a similar kind of setup where there's a circus slash zoo slash whatever, where yeah, she's got a role as a zookeeper and a different outfit too, as you can see. Yes, so that's that. And I mentioned the Mario Tennis Aces render on the left, but you can also see just to the lower left of that, that's Pauline as she appeared in the cartoon show Saturday Supercade. So there was a Donkey Kong portion of that animated series, and yeah, she looked like that. The original artwork for the original games had her as blonde, which I guess would explain why Lady in the manga is also has a light hair compared to Pauline. And yeah, the fact that she's had different names and stuff has led to me developing a rather lengthy name for her in my headcanon. The fact that she's been referred to as Lady implies to me that she's landed gentry. And then the fact that Daniela in the Super Mario Brothers movie, her middle name is Pauline. And then there's I think a flyer or an advertisement for the Donkey Kong Game & Watch called her Louise. I don't think it was the final flyer. She had her proper name, I think, later, but yeah, just adding to the pool of names for her. So I wrote it out before. Yeah, so her full name, if you take into account all the things that she's been called and the fact that Mario and Pauline got married at the end of certain versions of the film script, and that in other versions she was also Anthony Scapelli's sister. So her full name would be Lady Daniela Pauline Louise Verducci-Mario née Scapelli. Lady Daniela Pauline Louise Verducci-Mario née Scapelli. So there you go. She's a deep character. Yes, as Gibbon says, it was an early flyer, not the final one that went to print. Oh yeah, the fists out of the pipes. I forgot about that. Okay, that cloud is much less threatening than the redone version of the cloud, I gotta say. Done. But not quite. Oh yeah, so what else have we got? Let's see. Above those depictions that I mentioned earlier, there's 3 sprites, and I picked ones that I thought looked good but also were not the usual Pauline sprites that you see in the main games. So what have we got? The pink dress one is from Pinball on the NES. There's a bonus room. Okay, here's Luigi again. Oh, Luigi. Daisy, thank you. Hooray. Congratulations. HS. That would be Hypershell, the author of the hack. Thank you. It's well done. It's very nice. Oh yeah, that rocket ship had a completely new look in the redone graphics hack. Of course it did. Everything did. So yeah, the pink dress Pinball had bonus rooms where you're playing as Mario holding like Gerda or something and reflecting the ball off in breakout style. And Pauline appears in those. There's actually, those sprites are the basis of a hack for Super Mario Brothers on the NES that I couldn't actually find a ROM for, but there's a YouTube video showing it, where someone swapped out Mario's sprites for Pauline's from Pinball, and according to them, they didn't have to redraw anything. They just used all the sprites that she had in that game and gave them to different actions in the game, and it actually really works pretty well. Although, unfortunately, it's not... I couldn't find a way for it to be playable because it was just this video. They hadn't seemed to release a patch for it. Next to that on the right, with the light coloured hair and the red top, that's Pauline as you see her in Donkey Kong Game & Watch within Game & Watch Gallery 4 on the Game Boy Advance. And that was a dual screen thing, so she actually has two versions of the sprites because there was a toggle that changed the sizes of the relative sizes of the two screens. It's pretty complicated. You kind of have to see it in action. I think I might have done it on stream actually, like ages ago. Yeah, I believe I did. Anyway, that's a cute little sprite. No facial features, which is nice, kind of a Castlevania style. And the one on the top left is Pauline as you see her in Family Basic, the Famicom sort of game peripheral that teaches you the basic programming language and lets you make your own games. Pauline had a full set of sprites for her use in a Donkey Kong style game which you could create. And they look different to how she looks in the actual game of Donkey Kong. And I really like the way she looks specifically in Family Basic. It's a lovely little cute sprite. But speaking of that, we're now finished with Super Mario Land, so that leads us quite naturally into the next planned part of this stream, which is in fact Donkey Kong. Actually, yeah, there's two versions of this, so let me set this up properly. Yeah, we're done with Super Mario Land. I like it, I appreciate it. And it's over quickly, so that's nice. Okay. So setting this up. If I do this, oops, hold on. So what do you know about Donkey Kong? It's a video game. It was in the arcade and then it got a NES port. So the NES port was a stripped down, cut back version which lacked 1/4 of the content of the game because it cut out one of the levels. There are also other drawbacks like missing animations and sounds and stuff. So Nintendo actually hacked the NES game at some point for a re-release, and added some of those things back in. So one of the clear sort of benefits of the NES version of the arcade version is that jingle you just heard. Yep, that's it. But yeah, this so-called Donkey Kong Anniversary Edition came out with some of that content added back in and stuff to make it more like the arcade version. Yeah. Okay, so that game forms the basis for this hack, which is called, well, it doesn't have a name, Pauline Edition. I think it's Donkey Kong Pauline Edition. Yeah. So let's start the game and then we'll talk about it as we continue. So this hack was made in 2013 by a guy called Micah in 2013. He made it for his 3-year-old daughter who is a fan of video games but wanted to know why you couldn't play as the girl. So well done, Mike. He hacked the game and swapped the sprites around so that Pauline made new sprites, I think, for some of Pauline's animations there. Making her the hero, and Pauline and Mario is the damsel in this case. So this is the coloration that Pauline had in the NES edition, with the sort of orangish hair and pink dress. Gotta use all my skills here. These skills have not been tested since I played Donkey Kong 64 last, which does contain the whole original arcade version of the game in its full glory. Although it's not exactly the same. It has differences because it's a recreation rather than a port or whatever. So this is the level that was missing from the original NES release, the Pie Factory / Cement Factory. And that was it, it's gone. Yeah, so here's 75 meters, which is otherwise the second level in the NES version, I guess. I don't know, some releases of the some sort of versions of the arcade release mix up the order of the levels. So the way I expect this game to work is you go from level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, or 25 to 50 to 75 to 100 meters. But this always makes me so nervous. It got me. Yeah, you can sometimes race to that ladder, but it's better to wait under another spring. Yeah, some versions change it up so you go 1 to 2 and then back to 1 and then, I don't know. I forget what it's like, but I think it's the difference between the different regional ROM sets is what makes that difference. Yeah, so... Okay, so I do want to talk about Donkey Kong Original Edition, which is the basis of this hack. The version that Nintendo put out that was closer to the arcade version. They never really saw fit to release it properly or widely. The original way to get it was to buy a special edition red Wii that was released for the 25th anniversary of Mario, which I guess might have been the anniversary of the game Donkey Kong, as Mario's appearance. I forget, but yeah, they made this hack for official release, but only it was preloaded on these special red Wiis. Later on, they gave it away as a sort of virtual console game, but only as a bonus for purchasing other games, and then you'd register them on Club Nintendo and you'd be given a code for the Donkey Kong Original Edition. Yeah, basically until a bit later, they never just sold the game. Like, they made it really exclusive and hard to acquire, which is really bizarre. When you could get the NES version on the Wii Virtual Console normally. But I guess, well, they couldn't release the arcade version for reasons that have been publicized. Ikegami Tsushinki made the game, programmed the game, so they partially owned it, and there were legal barriers to Nintendo re-releasing it. But what they could do is hack the NES version, which they completely owned. So that's what they did. Now, from what I read, it did the original edition of the NES game, which is the name that they gave to the hack that added in arcade features, because they're original, but it's not the original NES release. It's like the terminology makes it tricky to talk about, but yeah, they did actually eventually release it for sale, from what I read, but only on the PAL 3DS Virtual Console in 2014. That's what I read. I don't know if it's available in other regions now, but completely boneheaded that it took them 4 years for it not being properly available. Of course, the arcade version, okay, actually, if that was the arcade version, Dan Hammer would have hit that fireball, but never mind. Yeah, the arcade version is now playable on the Nintendo Switch, thanks to, oh gosh, is it M2? I think it's M2. The Arcade Archives series, they did a faithful port, conversion, whatever, of the arcade version onto Switch. So that's cool. you can now play the proper version of Donkey Kong. Oops. Let's get this over with, shall we? But yeah, until then, this original edition, which had a very limited release, was the only way to get sort of an experience that was true to the arcade original. Except if you had Donkey Kong 64. And they did then release Donkey Kong 64 on the Wii U. So for a time period, buying the Virtual Console release of DK64 on the Wii U was the only way to like officially get a release of the arcade original, if that makes sense. It's so complicated. I'm bored talking about it. Yeah, so that's it. I've done it twice now. That's Pauline and Donkey Kong. Thank you, Mike Micker. This is a cool little hack. And yeah, iPhone would like to see more like it. There's hacks that make Zelda the protagonist of Zelda and things like that, which are also nice. Yes, the Arcade Archives release is a very faithful version. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I will show you is very similar to what I've just shown you. Hopefully this works. Okay, that's right. Controllers don't work in MAME for some reason. Alright, I hope this is showing up properly. This is equivalent to Mike Micker's hack of the NES version, but for the arcade game, and it's clearly, like, it's explicitly following on from that project and a response to it. This is Pauline in the arcade version of Donkey Kong. So there you go, all that talk about playing the faithful version, you can actually do it with Pauline as well, so that's nice. As long as you have the ROM, etc., and MAME and all that stuff. Oops, wow. Of course I don't have all my fancy rewinding buttons in MAME. Now, I promise you I wrote down who made this version. Ah yeah, here it is. Clay Cowgill is the name of the hack master who made this, although he admits that he's basing it on Mike Micker's work, and I think basing it also on Mike Micker's graphics, although I think it was a bit more challenging to hack the arcade version. It's not too difficult to apply the hack yourself. The instructions are fairly clear on Clay's website, so yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you can play both releases now. Oh, you know, this came out ages ago. This hack, not too long after Mike's hacking of the NES version. Of course, that is the one that got all the press and all the news articles and stuff, which is fair enough. Oh, the music broke, the sound broke. I mean, I can't hear anything now. Oh, we're back on the track mode. That's why. I ran out of credits. Of course, I'm playing an arcade game here. Yeah, but I mean, that's fair enough. It was the original. It was Mike's idea, and he had the initiative to do it. And then Clay built on that work to make this version, so that's nice. Will I be able to actually finish it? Come on, channel your Steve Weeb. Let's do it. Of course, this is the game that my muscle memory will aid me in from DK64. I feel like I should be playing it with a 64 joystick. But no, I'm using my keyboard. Which, as we know, I shouldn't do for too long because my wrists start complaining. Okay, we just got to be careful about barrels. I feel like the NES version is a little more forgiving with the controls. That's one of the differences. Okay, no problem. I love that. So, okay, I'm playing USSat 1. So, yeah, we're on this now. This is what I was talking about before. I'm completely thrown off. But you would notice actually that Clay also created new graphics for the pickups based on Mario's carpentry tools. Oops. Yeah, I hoped that it would keep walking, but it didn't. So instead of the hat and the bag and the parasol, we have pliers and a saw and a screwdriver or a what do you call them? What do you call them? Come on, help me out here. A thing. Like a lathe? No, it's like a what do you call it? Yeah, one of them things. Whatever. It's for like carving wood or whatever. You know what I mean. Okay, Gibbon thinks it looks like a screwdriver. Okay, fine. Maybe it is. Yeah, I think it... I don't know. Either way. Gibbon's now struggling to come up with the name. Oh, I've really trapped myself. Yeah, that didn't work out. Is that my last life? Oh, well. Well, you know what Donkey Kong's like. My name... Why, it's AAA, of course. Oh, that's weird. Instead of delete, it says rub, like you rub out the last character or something. Huh, funny. Okay. One more try. We can at least beat this 2-level version of Donkey Kong, I'm sure. A gouge? I don't think it's a gouge. Could be. The reigning champ, AAA. Yes, you will find my name on many arcades throughout the land. I am the mighty AAA. Ah. Indeed. Indeed. Followed closely by sex. Yes. I think that's Shinya Arino's moniker of choice when entering his initials on Game Center CX is to write in sex. It's very immature but funny. Oops, dang it. Okay, gouge is the word. Okay, that's fine. So it's a gouge, possibly. Thank you for going to sculpturestudio.com and confirming that for me, Gibbon. Okay. What else can I talk about now? Oh yeah, the fact that... Okay, so... Today we're playing hacks of Mario games that make women playable in them. That is not something that happens very often in the main series. Of course, famously in Super Mario USA, aka Mario 2, you could play as Toadstool, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time, I guess, for some reason. But I think it was very helpful to get a lot of people into the game. And I know on at least one occasion it has helped people grapple with gender issues in their own life. I'm thinking of like Drew Mackey, I think his name is, who has a nice blog called Bo and Birdo. But yeah, after that, Peach didn't really get a look in as far as playable characters, and even that was, you know the story. Something that Nintendo of America requested in place of the Japanese Mario 2, and we're all glad they did. Ah, nuts! That fire was too fast. Yeah, so it wasn't until like 3D World that same setup would come back with Peach as a selectable character. And then Rosalina was in there as well. Toadette's in the new release of New Super Mario Bros. U, the inaccurately named at this point. But Mario Run actually had a couple of... Yeah, see, there you go. I hit a thing on a ladder with the hammer. That's the thing that you can do in the arcade version. Yeah, Super Mario Run had a few different playable characters, and it included Peach, and also Daisy actually was added in a later update with the unique ability to double jump. So that was, I think, Daisy's only other like playable appearance in a platformer. Or only playable appearance, actually. She's been in a bunch of spin-offs, of course. Well, I am sucking at this game, but I had a few other things lined up that I could try out, which I, at this point, would prefer instead of beating my head against Donkey Kong, because, you know, I'm not good at it. So, what are we doing now? Stroke and match golf. So, this is a video game, also known as Golf, in its release on the NES. It then got put out on the Versus arcade system, which is based on NES hardware. And when they did so, they made two versions of it. The original one, and then this variation where you play as a woman instead, and they called it Ladies Golf. This release is known as Versus Stroke and Match Golf Ladies version, in brackets. So it's got different names. I believe it's more or less headcanon, the fact that Gibbon considers the playable character in this game to be Pauline. But I am running with that because, hey, why the heck not? I don't know the difference between stroke and match play, by the way, but I'm going to do the first one. Stroke play. Who knows what that means exactly. So, yeah, this is a golf game. You might... how do I do this again? Okay, so aim with that, and then... Oh, okay, that button. Okay, that was obviously the wrong thing. Actually, that's a good point. Gibbon's saying they do insist on calling her Lady. So the only indication we have for the identity of the character in this game is the fact that it's called Ladies Golf. Although I will point out that they spell it in the plural of ladies and then a possessive, I think. Wait, is that right? I don't know. Whatever. Yes, I'm in the bunker. Can I play out of the bunker, or are you going to put me back? I can play out of the bunker. Great. Do I have a sandwich? I should have changed my club there, actually. Use the open face club, the sandwich. Open face club sandwich. Excellent. Okay. I'll try that. Excellent. Yes. Triple bogey. All right. Par 4, eh? This is hard. Yeah, so I think they reused the course layouts from this game in Wii Sports, the golf mode. They translated them into 3D, and you can play them all there. That's a nice little bit of Nintendo trivia that should be in the back pocket of every trivia master. But referring to this character as Pauline, I think, is an even better piece of trivia that is rarer, I would say. You can actually see her on a flyer. There's a flyer for the Versus system that Nintendo put out at some point that it's like a grid of Mario faces looking at you, and with different sort of outfits and things based on the game. I'm not good at putting, am I? So there's like an American football game where Mario has the helmet on and stuff like that. And one of them is Versus Ladies Golf, and it's just kind of like a cartoonish one with a large nose and blonde hair. But heck, I think it's good enough to call her Pauline. Yeah, I'm doing badly, so it's making me put in another credit. Okay, let's continue. I actually like the river there. I like the look of it. They sort of managed to give a perspective thing. You know? Thing? Perspective. It's a thing with art. Where things look smaller when they're further away. Anyway. Stuff. Yes. So, I mean, the golf lineage. I talked about NES Open Tournament Golf. That comes later in the release schedule. I talked about that before as the... Where am I? Oh, I'm back here. I went out of bounds, I guess. So I think it's hard, but actually I might go across the lake here and then... Or across the river and then... Yes, okay, good. Need a bigger club, actually. I don't remember what all the different club numbers are. Not a huge golf buff, I must admit. What's the PW? Nah, too hard. But yeah, there's a bunch of golf games. Golf is a popular sport, I guess. Yeah, I mentioned NES Open Tournament Golf, where Daisy is in it as sort of the caddy for Luigi. You cannot play as her, unfortunately. But Donkey Kong's also in that game. He's like the manager of the clubhouse or something. It's pretty crazy. And then there were a couple more releases, especially in Japan. I think they got a few more on the Famicom Disk System with new course layouts and stuff for you to play. So I have to not go off the end of that or it curves back too far. There you go. That was a good shot. Yeah. No. Come on. Oh, cool. Lucky shot. Now, why don't we do a little 9-iron this way. Not bad, not bad. And back to the putter. Okay. Yeah, the graphics are a little primitive, but you can generally tell what you're doing. Yes, okay. There was like US course, Japan course, etc., etc. These are the golf releases. There's a ton of them. Anyway, the point is, for this particular game, the what? Oh yeah, I forgot what button I was using. Yeah, the playable character is an interesting like discussion, really, because a game called Golf was also released on the Game Boy at the same time, which clearly had Mario on the front cover, and even in the in-game graphics he looked a lot more like Mario. But the guy that you see on the cover of the NES version of Golf is not... Like, it could be Mario, but it's not always identified as such. In fact, the later game Captain Rainbow, which was a Wii kind of bizarre Japan exclusive, very interesting game, it actually identifies the golfer from Golf on the NES as Osan, which is kind of a generic term for an older man in Japanese. Oh, you're not far off, Gibbon, saying it looks like Captain Lou Albano, who played Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, of course. Maybe without the big mullet, I guess. But yeah, it's fair enough to call that Golfer Mario. Like, you could see that, you know. But outside of the Game Boy version, I don't think... and like some promotional materials, I think, called him Mario as well, but it's just later on they kind of backtracked a little. Oh, that was out of bounds. Okay, so if let's do a bigger wood or a smaller wood or whatever. I don't know. Golf is weird. Hey, not bad. Oh, that actually counted as green. Nice. Oh, okay. Nice counterpoint, Gibbon. Even before Mario was called Jumpman, he was known as Osan. Yeah, I remember him being referred to as Mr. Video as well in certain contexts, possibly a pre-release state. So yeah, I think the strangest thing, like, him being Mario actually makes the most sense. So when Captain Rainbow comes out and says, no, it's this other guy called Osan, that's like kind of jarring. But I don't know. Captain Rainbow's pretty weird. Too far? Yeah, too far. Guess I'll try an iron. I don't know. Oh, okay. So out of bounds penalizes you a stroke, but it puts you back on the course near where you landed in. Okay. Too hard. Way too hard. That's okay. I'm not sure how much effect that has on your actual position on the green when you get to that stage. Okay. Lysa touch. Too much. I think I missed. Oh no, I'm back out off the green. Nutso. Get me back. Too far. This sucks. Okay, I did end up further away from the hole. Oh, come on, really? It's just sloped very much, I guess. You don't get much precision outside of the green. Yeah. Cool. Oh, how many holes have we done? I think this is number 8. It says out 8 up there. Can I clear this out of bounds zone? Oh, I did. No, I didn't. Fine. I'll go this way then. No. Yes. Take that. Pauline does golf. She has many talents. I like those coloring books I mentioned earlier. They actually established that she owned a nightclub and was she not only owned it but also sang at it long before Odyssey. But she's also a zookeeper, a mechanic, an entrepreneur, businesswoman. In the movie, she works in a tanning salon, which, again, terrible for your health. Do not go to a tanning salon, you will get cancer. They have all rightly been outlawed by this point, I think. Depending on your region and local laws. Golf. It's pretty exciting. It's funny how so few pixels you have to work with. I got a jingle. I'm on a birdie try. That is exciting. Let's go for it. Yes! Oh wow, we've got actually more holes. More than 9. Because what I think Wii Golf just has the 9, doesn't it? Golf, savior of the universe. Gibbon requested the Flash Gordon theme. I'll golf every one of us. Ooh, nice shot. so close. Is this a par try? Yeah, I think so. Sweet. What? Double bogey? Really? Whatever, dude. Whatever. Gosh. What's the time? I have one more game to play after this, but I think we can maybe... Yeah, we can probably finish out the full 18 here. With Pauline's playable official debut. I'm glad that Hacks have added her in, but this is her first... You know, if you accept that this is Pauline, of course, which I've presented the evidence for, sort of. Have I? Have I? I don't know. Are you convinced? No, she's got her headphones in. That's okay. My wife's sick as well. Ah, yeah. The slope. I didn't account for the slope. Of course. How can I dare to call myself a golfer? Dude. Dude. Okay. Yes. So, Pauline, golf, and also tennis. True Mario spin-off character. Good times. Those are like the two pillars of Mario spin-offs. It's golf and tennis. The other pillars would be party and kart, I guess. Don't know what a PW is. Whoa, that was a terrible shot. I think I might have missed the ball completely. Did that count against my total? I do not know. Yeah, off target. Oh, so close. Cool. Triple bogey? I'm not sure. This game is really sucking me dry. There's a lot of out-of-bounds zone in this course. Can I get a hole-in-one? No, never ever. Cool. Oh, a par. You know, actually, this game's pretty quiet. I will turn it up compared to myself. You must hear these jingles, my friends. Yeah, okay, stuff, things. Oh no. I guess I'll... 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 16 directional. Yeah, you got north, south, east, and west. And then there's 3 gradations in between each of the cardinals. So that's 16-way turning that I have available to me. Star Tropics, huh? I don't know much about it, to be honest. But it's now on the Nintendo Online NES game thing. I do remember reading... Yeah, actually, this week I read an article about how for that release, the Nintendo Online release of Star Tropics, they forgot to notify you at all that there's like an out-of-game puzzle to do with the feelies that were included in the package. Like there was a secret message that you dip in water and it shows you a code to enter at a certain point in the game. And for this release, they completely neglected, they kind of forgot that it existed. So there's no in-game way for you to know that code if you got that release of the game. You just have to look it up online. Oh no. Bunker. Oh, what? What kind of shot was that? Okay, I guess I won't aim for that next patch of fairway. I'll just aim for outside the bunker. Yes, I believe you're correct, Gibbon. The previous release on the Wii Virtual Console had a virtual manual that you could virtually splash with water. I think you're right there, but that feature is not included on the NES Online Switch release, from what I read. So I don't know. You could tell better than me. I do not have the Nintendo Online service, so that's just what I read. Oh, is that enough power? It is. Cool. Not a bad on, actually. Okay. See, I don't have enough precision to aim for the hole in this mode. Oh, come on, really? Okay, now we're finally on. Okay. Adjust slightly. Yeah, nailed it. This is the only, like, non-hack game that I'm playing today, actually. Because, like I said, the Mario series has a bad record for playable women. Although one of my favorite Mario games actually is Super Princess Peach, which I know is widely maligned, but I think that's unfair. Like, okay, some of the criticisms are fair, like the fact that the first Mario game that's really starring a woman solely focuses very heavily on emotions and has Peach becoming quite literally hysterical in it as one of her powers. But I don't know. That's all fair. But I still love it because it carries on the Yoshi's Island lineage, and I love Yoshi's Island. It reuses a lot of enemies and visual styles from that game, and a more kind of exploratory gameplay style as well. So it's actually one of my favorite games in the whole Greater Mario series. But I think I've already named all the Mario games that exist that let you play as a lady. And it wasn't a long list. There's a couple of like more minor examples, like there's a Nelsonic Game Watch. Is it Nelsonic? It might be the other company. A Game Watch where you play as Toadstool. It's like Princess Toadstool's Castle Run or something. And it's like behind the back you're running and you change lanes, you know, in that way that simpler LCD games, you know, you're moving forward, quote unquote camera is behind you, and you're like dodging things that are coming at you. Oh, I don't know if... Oh yeah, that curve. That worked out really well for me. And there's other things like some of the Game & Watch games, not in their original release, but in their modern recreation in the Game & Watch galleries, like Chef in Game & Watch Gallery 3, I think, has you as Peach with a frying pan instead of the chef trying to stop the food hitting the floor. I have all this on a spreadsheet somewhere. I'm doing this from memory. Oh yeah, if you've got it, I recommend playing it, especially if you like Yoshi's Island or Starfy. It's the same developer and it's kind of similar to that. Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. I'm so bad at this. Oh, did I get, like, out? Yeah. No? Yes. Hole out. I took too many strokes, so they've just cut me off, I think. Oh, and that was the 18th hole, so that's the end of my golfing career forever, I think, because I've almost doubled the par. No reflection on Pauline, that was all me. Okay. Okay, so that was that. Let's see. We got 5 minutes. I did have one more little game here to play. So let's get that going real quick. So in the same spirit as Super Daisy Land, we've got another game that's part of the DK Goethe arcade universe, Mario Brothers. And this is loud, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Okay, so yeah, Mario Brothers, a game portraying the career of the Mario Brothers plumbing business before they became super in the Mushroom Kingdom. In fact, I interpreted it as being a transitionary phase when they're like, I think this is kind of the original intention as well. They've discovered something in the sewers that links to another world. But anyway, this is a game called Princess Panic. Well, it's a hack called Princess Panic, which changes Mario Brothers to star Peach and Daisy instead of Mario and Luigi. This hack was done by Zinc Oxhide, whose name you saw on the title screen back there. So because Daisy is the player 2, I can't actually choose to play as her. Oh, maybe if I do a 2-player mode and then... Hang on, I could do that. 2-player game. And then I will... Oh gosh, then I have to remap the controls. Whatever. Fine. I can't remap the controls right now, so I'm playing as Peach, that's fine. Yeah, Zinc Oxide actually has done a bunch of cool hacks. They've not only done things like this where they swap out some graphics to give you different playable characters, but they've done a lot of translations into their native Filipino or Tagalog languages. But yeah, they have also done some hacks that I've actually mentioned before on stream. They are responsible for the, what are they called? Yeah, Roll Chan, where they take the Rockman or Mega Man games and swap out Rock for Roll as the playable character. And they've done that for all 12 of the 8-bit Rockman games, including 6 on NES, 5 on Game Boy, and even the one on Game Gear that was a sort of remix of elements of 4 and 5, I think. So yeah, well done to them. They've also they've also done hacks for Super Mario Brothers 1 and Super Mario USA that make Bowsette the playable character, and also swap out a lot of the other enemy graphics for other ET-type characters, as you would have seen in fan art throughout the last year. Yeah. So that's cool, I guess. I haven't noticed that Mozart music, so maybe that was just the arcade version, but anyway. I did mention before that they used some Eine kleine Nacht music in Mario Brothers. I think that's just for the arcade. This is the NES version, I didn't mention that, but unlike Donkey Kong, I don't think there's too many compromises between them. Going from arcade to NES. What else? Oh yeah, on top of all the Roll-Chan hacks and and that stuff. Zinc Oxide has also hacked Mickey Mousecapade, turning it into Minnie Mousecapade, and Adventure of Lolo to change it into Quest of Lala. So, you know, Lolo and Lala. The thing that Hal did before Kirby, which they then reference in Kirby as a boss. Whoop. Daisy game over. Oh no, I'm out of POW. Boop. Cool. Laura's okay with Bowsette being the character. Yep, that's cool. You should check it out, I guess. Yeah. Zinc Oxide on romhacking.net has a couple of Bowsette hacks, so check them out. Whoop. So yeah, I'd like I was talking about before, having the super context and the sort of arcade working class Mario context. Peach and Daisy don't really fit here, do they? But that's okay. It makes enough sense for the purposes of a hack to have them playable as a duo. Pauline doesn't really have a partner, teammate, you know, kind of thing. Do they still partner up characters in the new Mario Tennis games? Because the older ones were all, like, especially I think Mario Power Tennis was focused around the partner dynamic and each character having an opposite that they would pair up with. And I think that's where I think that's also the origin of the Yoshi and Birdo relationship, when Birdo starts wearing a ring and they're partners in that. Although Double Dash was around the same time as well, and that also had a similar core mechanic to it. Mario Kart Double Dash. I'm not sure which came first, to be honest. But they were... I'm sure they were in development at the same time. No, I don't know. Who cares? What's the time? Well, I guess this game doesn't have an end, so... You can really just stop when you want to or when you die. But I think I've seen all the enemies. Fireflies, yeah, and then the crabs, sidesteppers, I believe. No, the turtles are sidesteppers. What are the crabs called? Snippy boys, I don't know. Is that right? Sidestepper. Seen the fireball. We haven't seen a freezy yet, actually. Oh, game over. Well, that's fine. That's a good time to end. I think I've gone through as much of my notes as I could. I wrote so much stuff. But yeah, we've seen a lot of cool games today. We've given Pauline a nice shot as a hero a few times there, and as a golfer who is bad at golf apparently. But yeah, I had a good time. Hope you enjoyed this Pauline super special. And thanks very much for joining me. See you next time, friends. Oh, I didn't press the button yet.